Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Gospels, good news. Many of our stories lately have come from the Gospels, the books that tell about Jesus' life. And they have a lot of good news in them. Say it with me, and then let's find out what good news we have today. Ready? Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Gospels, good news. Today, our Anytime video comes from the Gospel of Matthew. It's the story of when Peter saw Jesus walking on water. Before we hear that story, let's look at a quick science experiment. Buoyancy. Buoyancy is the ability to float. Let's check out if an orange can float. Let's start with a plain regular orange. When I drop it into the pitcher of water, it takes a few seconds. But let's see, what's it doing? Here it comes. It's floating. But let's keep going with this experiment. If that orange floated, I'll bet this peeled orange will float too. Let's check it out. Is it buoyant? Definitely not. You see, the peeling helps the orange to float. It has air in it. And when you take off the peeling, all of the extra air is gone, and so the orange isn't buoyant anymore. Let's see what this could have to do with our story today. Early one morning, the disciples woke up. They'd been on their boat all night, and they were pretty tired. They'd been trying to catch some fish. And as he woke up and was yawning, Peter looked out across the water and he saw something. And he said to his friends, "Hey, what is that? Look across the water." And one of them yelled out, "It's a ghost, it's a ghost." And they were so scared, they were shaking in their sandals. When suddenly, Jesus said, "Friends, it's me." And he waved a friendly hello. Well, Peter wasn't quite sure. And he said, "Jesus, if that's you, then call me out there to walk on the water with you." And Jesus said, "Sure, come on out, Peter, walk with me." So Peter stepped out of the boat. He kept his eyes on Jesus. And suddenly, he found himself walking on the water. Only his feet were getting wet. He kept his eyes on Jesus. But then he heard something in the sky and he looked up at the clouds and suddenly his ankles were wet. And suddenly his knees were wet. And he was sinking. And he said, "Jesus, help, save me." And of course, Jesus reached out his hand and he helped Peter to get back in the boat. And he asked, "Why did you take your eyes off of me?" The disciples, though, were very excited because they realized that Jesus could walk on water, and they needed to tell everyone about this miracle. When Peter took his eyes off Jesus, he sank. he lost his buoyancy. When we keep our eyes on Jesus, he gives us the courage to face tough problems and to be brave. Water molecules are very sticky. They stick together easily. When they do, we call it cohesion. With this experiment, you start with a full glass of water. It looks like nothing else will fit inside this glass. But we're going to add pennies and see how long it will take and how many pennies we can use before the water overflows. Even though it's full, it will kind of get a little bit of a dome on the top of it as the water molecules stick. Let's see. It was full, remember? There's 4. It still has not gone over the top. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These water drops are really sticky. 10, 11, did I lose count? 12, 13, 14. Look how it's really bulging over the top now. I'm going to stop there. I want you to do this experiment yourself. See how many pennies you can add to a full glass of water before it will spill over. Remember, water molecules are sticky. They stick together. That could apply to Jesus. He sticks with us no matter what. Just like water molecules stick together, we need to stick with Jesus. He loves us. He calls us by name. And if we keep our eyes on him, he will help us to be brave. Let's close with a prayer. Jesus, help us to keep our eyes on you when we need help and when we need to have courage. Amen. Had fun with you this week. I hope you enjoyed the science. I love you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.